Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make videos for NBA. I also do cover a bunch of other stuff as well. Um, all my posts get posted on this Discord, or Jesus Christ, this subreddit. It's called DF Sports. I make updates with all the news that comes out. You're definitely going to want to be here tomorrow with how much news we have tomorrow. It's a 13-game slate, so you're going to want to be here when I post updates with that stuff that I like based on news. Because slates always change, right? Um, you can talk strategy here, ask me questions. I'll always reply to stuff like that. So, yeah, if you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can do so on Twitter at Tory Langley1992. So, not going to show you my lineup tonight because I don't like sweating my lineups, but I'm really, really busy tonight. I have to do XFL research. Obviously, I have to get this NBA video out. I did NBA today, so it's looking like it's going to be about a 15-hour workday or so. So, I don't want to sweat my lineups. That's why I'm getting this video out early so I can do XFL research right after this. It's going to be a grind. By the way, Discord link will be down in the comments if you want, in-depth content going over each slate, player pools for cash and GPPs. I'll give you guys I give 4 core plays to play, stuff like that. I also cover a lot of more in-depth content. I do XFL content. Um, I have people doing MLB content if you're interested in playing MLB. I also I do NBA. I also do XFL. I have Cam doing MLB. I will give cores for NASCAR, so I guess you could count NASCAR. And then we have a bunch of sharps that play PGA. Um, some people play esports, and then we have people in Prize Picks sports betting channels that also do stuff like that. But I cover XFL, NBA, and then I have someone covering the MLB. So yeah, the core that I had for today was Thomas Bryant looking like he's smashing right now. Who else did I have a core play? MPJ. Who else did I have a core play? Giannis, he busted from the blowout, and Robert Williams, who absolutely nuked. So core going to be a 3 out of 4 today. It's looking like, but yeah, I'm not going to keep you guys here too long. We're going to get through this as quick as we possibly can because it's a big, big, big slate here. Going to be a crazy one for a Friday. So let's get into it. Chicago. So it's a phenomenal matchup. You guys know what I'm going to say here. I like the big three always for GPPs. I don't think they'll get too much ownership outside of Vooch just because it is a phenomenal matchup. Like, I don't know if people are really going to be playing Levine or DeRozan on a 13-game slate. I feel like Vooch will get some ownership just because the price and the matchup. But, man, pricing is down for all three of these guys in a great, great matchup. My only concern here is the risk for a blowout. But, man, I like DeMar, I like Levine, I like Vooch. I think they all look pretty good for GPPs to me. Vooch definitely being my favorite. And like I said, we're going to try and get through this video pretty quickly. I'm not going to be going to anyone else there for the Bulls. On to Charlotte. So we have Hayward, I believe, doubtful. We have Dennis Smith Jr., I believe, questionable. And we have Kelly Oubre, questionable. So, if Dennis Smith Jr. and Kelly Oubre are in, I'm not paying 8.5K for PJ Washington. I will say, I think Kelly Oubre looks pretty good, assuming he's not on a limit at 7-2. He's just going to have to do absolutely everything for this team. So I like Kelly Oubre's upside quite a bit, assuming he plays. Dennis Smith Jr. at 6'8 would be reasonable. I think it's, about right for his price tag. And then, like, if those guys are in, I don't think I can get to Svi. Wouldn't be able to get to Bryce McGowan, so I wouldn't be able to get to any of these secondary guys. And then with the center situation, so they're going to be resting one of the centers. They said they're going to do like a rotation, so I would assume Kai Jones rests tomorrow, and it's like Nick Richards, Mark Williams splitting the center minutes. At their respective prices, they're about right, so not too much interest there either. If Oubre and Dennis Smith Jr. are out, then I think Theo Maledon at 5.5K really stands out to me. I think we get huge minutes from him. He's going to have all the usage in the world. I would like him quite a bit, even at 5.5K. And then I think you can make the arguments for like Svi Mikhailuk, even though 6.3K does seem a little bit overpriced. Bryce McGowan's, I played him last late at 3.7, only played 24 minutes. It's definitely a bit concerning. Would only consider him a GPP player if they're only going to play him that much. JT Thor did play massive minutes, 4-7. Like, once again, not like I'm not going to go out of my way to play him, but I'm okay with him as if you land on him as like a last man in. I'm sure we'll get better value. I'm not going to be going to anyone else on Charlotte. Let's move over to Orlando. Going to make this quick. Paolo, Franz, Carter, Fultz, Cole, Suggs, they're all just tournament only plays for me. I probably don't have any interest in Cole or Suggs on this slate, especially at their prices. Some interest in Fultz. I think it's a really, really good spot for Wendell Carter Jr., so he might be my favorite, but they're all just GPP only plays for me. On to Washington. So, I mean, it's an okay matchup. We have Daniel Gafford questionable. If he's out, I do like Kristaps Porzingis as a spend up. I would assume he starts at the 5. I forget if Gafford was out last game. If they started, did they start Gill? Let me take a look at this. Sorry, guys, I should have looked at this earlier. Okay, I assume they started Porzingis at the 5. Yeah, they did. They started DeLon and Monte Morris together. So if Daniel Gafford's out, that just boosts my appeal to Porzingis. I think it's a solid play regardless, just because he's going to have to do absolutely everything for this team. Orlando's not the best matchup for bigs, but once again, the usage is going to be through the roof. So like Porzingis, like him even more if Gafford's out. Denny's overpriced, I think, now. Safe play, but definitely overpriced now. Monte Morris is overpriced. DeLon's overpriced. I'm not going to be going to anyone else. Let's go to OKC. So no Shy. It's a phenomenal matchup. I wish Giddey was cheaper, man, because, I mean, it seems like they're going to play him, 35-ish minutes. And with no Shy, he does get a big, big, big bump. Like, he still can go for 50, 55-ish. We saw it 2 games ago. So I still think he's in play. I just wished he was a little bit cheaper. I think I prefer Jalen Williams at 7.5, who I still think is a solid play. He's going to play close to 40 minutes. He's bringing the ball up a lot more. They're just having the ball in his hands a ton. He's driving. So, yeah, I think Jalen Williams is still solid, even at 7.5. I'm not getting into Dort. Isaiah Joe, 5.3, that just seems like reaching, but still is a ceiling if he's hitting his shots, and then I'm not touching anyone else on a 13-game slate. Okay, so Halliburton out. We have Miles Turner. I'm 100% confident Miles Turner isn't going to play tomorrow. They don't need him. We have Buddy Hield back, so Matherman at 6.3. I think he's in play for GPPs, but with Buddy Hield back, you got to understand. He was nuking because Buddy Hield was out. I think with Buddy Hield back, that definitely hurts him. So just a tournament-only play for me. The guards and Nembhard and TJ, I think we get high 20s minutes for TJ, which makes him playable. And I think Nembhard gets pretty big minutes, probably like, I don't know, 30 to 33, which makes him also playable. No standouts there. I don't like the price on Jordan Nwora. I'm not going to get to Naismith. And then if Turner's out, Jalen Smith, Isaiah Jackson will split the center minutes. Both are reasonable to solid for me. Toronto, so there's just nothing here. Really, really tough spot. I'm not going to take your time here. Like Siakam, Fred, Scotty, they're all fine GPP plays. I don't like Pirtle. I don't like OG. I don't think Trent or Barton news really changes too much for me. So, yeah, pretty unappealing there with Toronto. Let's move on to Philly. Pretty unappealing team to me here. So, Maxey, Harris, Melton, they're overpriced. Joel Embiid, I always like for GPPs, but the matchup and the pace of this game is going to be god-awful. Same thing with James Harden. So, really only looking to the top 2 guys here. They're in play for GPPs for me. All right, on to Utah. So, not a good matchup here. Boston is on a back-to-back, though. We have Markkanen out. We have Clarkson out. We have Kelly Olynyk questionable with an illness. We have Sexton out. So, my only concern here is I called it on Twitter. Can't wait to see this rotation tonight. Some fuck shit is going to happen. And some fuck shit happened. You only saw 30 minutes for THD. He's still nuked. You only saw like 20 minutes for Walker Kessler. You saw pretty much like Samanik, Juzang. You saw a lot of those guys. I think you saw a bunch of Damian Jones. So I'm not confident in this team at all. I really am not. I'm not sure if this game was getting out of hand and then they just pulled everyone. I really don't know. But they're obviously not trying to win games here. So I don't have too much interest in this team. Like, sure, if Kelly Olynyk's out, sure. Take shots on THT. Take shots on Walker Kessler. Take shots on Chris Dunn. I'm not going to play Oche or Fontecheo. If Olynyk's out, once again, you can take shots on Samanik, Juzang. sure, be my guest, but I don't think I want to deal with this rotation right now, on such a big slate here. But yeah, if Olenek's out, you can take shots on these types of guys: Samanek, Juzang. Um, I don't know. It's just hard to trust there. Back to back here for Boston. I guess we'll have to see if they're going to rest anyone. Against Utah, I'm not entirely sure if they're going to. Like, Tatum, I think is fine as tournament play. Jaylen Brown, I think is okay. And then everyone's just overpriced. Once again, guys, I told you, I'm not going to take your time here. All right, tough spot here, but we do have Julius Randle out. I think quickly is overpriced. I think Jalen Brunson stands out to me at 8K. I don't care about the matchup here. He's just too cheap with the role that he is going to have with no Julius Randle, so he looks very good. RJ Barrett, Josh Hart, I think look like solid plays as well. I think RJ Barrett's going to have to play all the minutes he can handle here. And 6'4", I think, is too cheap. I like him quite a bit. I think Josh Hart is even solid at 5'8". And then I expect Obi Toppin to move into the starting lineup at 4K. Right now, he stands out to me as one of the better value plays in the slate. So really like Obi Toppin. Like Josh Hart, really like RJ, really like Brunson. Quickly is overpriced. Mitchell Robinson's a fine dart, but Cleveland very tough against bigs. So, yeah. Definitely some things to like on the Knicks in a very, very tough spot. Cleveland, really tough spot here. Jared Allen, I believe, is doubtful. So Evan Mobley is going to get the biggest boost, but he's almost 9K now in one of the toughest matchups in the league. Donovan Mitchell at 9-1 seems overpriced. I'm fine still taking shots on Darius Garland at this price. Just the starters are going to play like 40 to 42 minutes. So I still think they're all in play for GPPs, but once again, really tough spot. Not my favorite team to target there for the Knicks. Atlanta. So I think this game could have some upside here. And we have sub 9K Trae Young. I really like Trae Young here. It's just too cheap. I think Murray's fine. Clint Capella, bigs have been destroying the Brooklyn Nets, so I like him for GPPs. Not going to get to Collins. Not going to get to anyone else. I guess if Hunter's out, we'll see who starts. Could make guys like Bogdan, Sadiq Bey more appealing, depending on what they do with the starting lineup. Like A.G. Griffin maybe starts. I don't know, but it would just make me have more interesting guys like Boggs, Sadiq Bey, stuff like that. On to Brooklyn. So once again, I like Brooklyn for GPPs. Always like Houston. They're going to run their starters pretty much into the ground. So I don't know who DeJounte Murray is going to be on. I would assume it would be Bridges. So I do like Dinwiddie. I think he has the better matchup. I always like targeting guys against Trae Young. So I like Dinwiddie for tournaments. I like Bridges for tournaments. I think Claxton's okay. Cam's a bit overpriced. And then it's going to be, don't think I'll be going to anyone else there. On to the Clippers. So Kawhi Leonard, we have questionable here. If he's in, I think Kawhi's a fine tournament dart. I think Westbrook's overpriced, and then everyone else would be out to play. If Kawhi's out, then I still like Westbrook quite a bit, even at this price. He's just going to have to do everything for this team. He's going to have triple-double upside. The usage is going to be insane. So still like Westbrook quite a bit if Kawhi's out. It's still tough to get to anyone else. Like, Terrence Mann did start and play 35 minutes. I guess he would be my second favorite play. I will say Robert Covington did not miss a shot, but once again, I'm not confident he's going to play even much. Ty Lue is just the absolute woat. I don't even know why he wasn't playing above Marcus Morris before. He also didn't miss, so you can't play Robert Covington tomorrow, I don't think. That just feels like absolute chasing. Bones Highland is 5'4", no. Batum's 5'2", no. It's probably just Terrence Mann and Westbrook for me, to be honest. So let's move on to Memphis. So not scared of the matchup here. I think John Morant, I think he's back to full minutes here. We do have Bane back. I'm pretty sure others are out. We do have Tyus Jones back as well. Maybe he might go back down to around 30 minutes because they didn't really have a good backup point. But if we continue to get mid-30s minutes from Ja, I like him. Jaren, I think, is overpriced. Bane's overpriced. Brooks overpriced. Tyus is overpriced. So it's really just Ja Morant at the top for me on Memphis. Lakers, so AD probable, I believe. LeBron probable as well. Questionable. So, I mean, AD played I swear, he sucks when LeBron's out. And then he nukes when LeBron's in. So, yes, I have interest in AD for GPPs. I think they're going to run AD into the ground just because they have to win games right now. So, I still have definitely a ton of interest in AD, even if LeBron's in. If LeBron's out, I like him even more. If LeBron's in, I don't know how much he plays. if we get like 35 minutes from a sub 10K LeBron, then I do like him. Maybe just keep an eye on if they're going to bump his minutes up. And then with LeBron and AD in, it's just impossible to go to anyone else on this team. If LeBron's out, then I think you could consider D'Lo, but it would just make AD more appealing to me. Minnesota's just a cross-off. I think Cat's a good tournament play. I think Ant's an okay tournament play just because the matchups are really good. But outside of those two, this team is basically just cross-off for me. On to Detroit. So, no Bojan, no Magruder, no Stewart, no Burks, no Diallo. We have Hayes, questionable. I think Ivy's a pretty good tournament play regardless. I always want to target guards going up against Houston. Jaden Ivey's been playing phenomenal of late. He fouled out in 31 minutes, so I think we get pretty big minutes here from Jaden Ivey. I like him quite a bit for tournaments. Bagley's minutes are on a downtrend, so it's hard to go there. Wiseman, Durant splitting the center minutes, can't go there. And then I'm not touching Kojo, Livers, those kind of guys. If Killian Hayes is out, then I just like Ivy. I really like Ivy if Killian Hayes is out. And then we'll just monitor what they do with the starting lineup. So, yeah, that'll do it for Detroit. That's kind of a wait and see there. I don't know who would even start. I forget if there was a previous situation. RJ Hampton, Ivy at the 1, RJ at the 2 maybe. Not entirely sure there. On to Houston. So another team that I like quite a bit for GPPs. They're just running Kevin Porter Jr. into the ground, man. So I like Kevin Porter Jr. quite a bit for GPPs. Think Sengun's reasonable in a really good matchup. Jalen Green definitely in play, but I prefer Kevin Porter Jr. Jabari, no. If KJ Martin's out, if they start Tari Eason, I really like Tari Eason. We'll see. I don't know what they'll do there, and then nothing really else to get there. On the Spurs, so we have Keldon questionable, we have Vassell questionable, we have Doug probable, Langford probable. It's just tough to say right now. With Collins out, Sandro's going to start. I think he's a good play at 5K, good point per minute guy. I think we get close to 30 minutes from him, so like Sandro a lot. Trey Jones is reasonable. If Keldon and Vassell are in, then I'm just probably not going to touch anyone besides Sandro. If they're both out, then I guess you can go to guys like Branham. Champagne started last game, but you couldn't pay me to play him. Keita Bates-Diop will start, but I don't think he's going to play a ton of minutes, so I'm not confident there. So I think Sandro is mainly the guy that I want to target here. And then if you think this game stays close, I think Steph is just a smash for GPPs, hopefully at low ownership, even at this price tag. Just a phenomenal spot. Just they're going to play so fast and just not play defense. So I like Steph a lot. If you think this game stays close, I think Clay has a ton of upside. Draymond seems safe. Hard to go to Looney. Pretty sure they started Kuminga last game. I mean, if Kuminga starts, solid value, but not a ton of confidence in anyone else there for Golden State. All right, rematch here. So it's up to you. I mean, do you think this game stays close or not? Because if you don't think it stays close, then you can't really play anyone here. Like, you could still hope Sabonis for Fox gets there in 3 quarters, sure. And they're extremely efficient, but it's tough. It's tough to stay. Like, Monk is 5'5", just it's tough, guys. If you think it stays close, then yeah, sure, fire up Sabonis, fire up Fox. I probably wouldn't consider anyone else though. And here we go. They're gonna have, I believe, I don't know if Skylar Mays will be available. So Cam Reddish and Archie DiNacino, both were DMPs last game. Both were available, but I knew that they weren't. I knew Cam Reddish wasn't going to play. I didn't think Ryan Archie DiNacino wasn't going to play though. But if Skylar Mays isn't available, which I would think he is, because I think you need 8 active bodies to even play. Because like right now they have, or if they have Watford in, because like right now they have 1. If Watford's out, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 7. And then Skylar Mays, if he's available, I don't know if he's available or not. He's not even in the player pool. And then if Watford's in, they would have 8 or 9. So it's tough to say right now. Tough to say right now. If they do what they did last game and they play Shaedon Sharpe 45 minutes, then I still like Shaedon Sharpe even at $8,000. If they play, Kevin Knox 40 minutes, I still like him even at 5K. Like if Jabari Walker and Drew Eubanks are going to split the center minutes, I know Drew Eubanks got into foul trouble early, so that's probably why Jabari Walker could gain more minutes. But I think they're both still in play. I don't know how much Matisse Thybulle played. Matisse Thybulle played close to 40 minutes. I mean, he's firmly in play if they have a 7-man rotation. I mean, John Butler played 26 minutes, still in play. They're gonna have seven or eight guys here, so you have to have interest in this team. Like Sharp, I still looks very good even at that price. Like Little, I still he played 40 minutes. Like had a terrible shooting game, but still a 7 or 8 man rotation. You have to have interest in these guys. So like Sharp, like Knox, Drew, Jabari, like Little, like Thibault, like it's gonna depend. John Butler playable, and then it's gonna depend on if Watford's in, and they have Skylar Mays available. Because if Watford's out, I assume they'll have to have him available. I haven't found anything on the internet for that, unfortunately. Um, so if Watford's in, then we'll just monitor what they do with the starting lineup, and we'll go from there. Denver at Phoenix. So Jokic, I assume will play. I think he's a great spend up as always, and then that takes like guys like Gordon and PJ kind of out of play for me. Bruce Brown, same thing. Murray, I still think would be playable, but there wouldn't be really much outside of Jokic. And then this team is basically just a cross off for me with KD in. Like I think you can get to Booker in 150 max, 20 max tournaments, but for my one lineup, it's going to be really, really hard for me to get to him. KD, impossible to get to him as well. Don't really like Ayton, don't really like Chris Paul. So there's not much on the Phoenix side. So hope this video helped you guys out, and I will talk to y'all tomorrow.